former speechwriter for Datuk Sri Najib Razak testified at the 1MDB Tanore trial that he had received more than 22 million from the former PM for writing speeches in English. During the trial, Datuk Omar Mustafa said his company, Semarak Consortium Satu, only served Najib, rendering speechwriting and international media relations services from 2011 to 2014. Umar, who is the 45th prosecution witness, testified that he saw an opportunity in 2010 to work for Najib after his previous PR firm, APCO Worldwide, came under scrutiny when the then opposition brought up in Parliament that he had paid them 76.8 million a year. When the contract with APCO was subsequently discontinued, Omar said that he had then gotten in touch with APCO CEO in Malaysia, Paul Statland, to ask him to join Semarak Consortium, and Statland had agreed to do so. Omar said Statland's role had been to smooth out these interactions. The witness said that in March 2011 he had met with Najib at his office and pitched his company's services to the ex-PM. He said that the payment was based on a verbal agreement between him and Najib, as they wanted to prevent their deal from being politicised. Upon cross-examination from Najib's lawyer, Tan Sri Shafi Abdullah, Omar said the total charges for the services were claimed by him from Najib personally, adding that the amount was absolutely reasonable. When asked by the prosecution, Omar replied that he did not know the source of the funds he was receiving. Meanwhile, former Treasury Secretary Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Irwan Siriga Abdullah has verified Najib's voice in 4 audio recordings played during the trial. The 4 recordings were part of multiple audio clips that were made public by former Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission Chief Commissioner Latifah Koya in January 2020. They purportedly feature Najib and other 1MDB-linked individuals. The prosecution argued last year that the recordings were crucial to supporting their rebuttal of Najib's claim that the money was donated by Saudi Arabian royalty. Aeon Credit Service Malaysia is leveraging on artificial intelligence technology to minimize its high-risk customer segment to approximately 20% from 30% currently. Speaking at the press conference after its 26th AGM, Managing Director Daisuke Maeda said that the group has come out with the AI initiative to improve its asset quality. He says the group launched the digital onboarding for instant conditional approval, which is backed by eKYC solutions and scoring models to acquire good score customers strategically. According to Maeda, Aeon Credit has collaborated with Japan-based Global AI Innovations Laboratory, which offers AI-based credit scoring service for Aeon Credit to optimize and enhance the application process. The consumer finance company said it has allocated up to 3 million of its operating expenditure this year for the AI-based credit scoring service. CFO Lee Siew-Tee said the decisions to leverage on the AI service is because the company wants to improve its productivity in the long run, especially amid the higher inflation environment. She adds that the goal is to acquire more customers with good credit scores in the long run. Aeon Credit, which saw stellar earnings in FY 2023, where sales returned to pre-pandemic levels and it recorded its highest PBT to date of 547 million, is adopting a cautious stance for the current year's outlook against a backdrop of inflationary pressures, high interest rates and competition from other credit service platforms. Chairman Ng Kiat says that while it would be tough to maintain its past year's performance, the company expects to maintain a dividend payout of 30% this year. A unit of Uzma has clinched 2 contracts estimated worth 450 million for the provision of hydraulic workover and plug and abandonment operation from Petronas Carigali. Uzma said the contracts to the group's wholly owned unit Uzma Engineering involve the supply of minimum 1340K rating hydraulic workover unit rig and minimum 1460K rating HWU rig for PCSB's workover and well plug and abandonment operations offshore Malaysia. The duration of the contracts will be for 3 years, with an extension option for 1 year, effective May 17, 2023 until May 16, 2026, Uzma said in its BOS filing. The Oil and Gas Services Group believes the contracts will contribute positively towards the earnings and net assets per share for the company for FY 2023 and onwards until the expiry of the contract. Uzma's share price closed unchanged at 62 cents today, valuing the group at 217 million ringgit. Global business services provider Day3 Digital has set its initial public offering price at 30 cents per share as it aims to raise 36.72 million when it goes public. Based on the enlarged share capital of 480 million shares and its 30-cent listing price, Day3 is expected to have a market capitalization of 144 million after listing. Ace market-bound Day3 is a GBS provider focusing on customer experience and lifecycle management services enabled by in-house developed digital tools. It serves clients across diverse industries including energy and utilities, telecommunications and media, fintech and financial services, construction, e-commerce and retail, healthcare as well as travel and hospitality. Managing Director Raymond Davadas says the company expects its working capital requirements to increase in tandem with the expected growth in scale of its operations. He explains that people cost is a significant component in its business, hence why Day3 has allocated 44.4% of its IPO proceeds for working capital requirements for its upcoming projects and contracts. According to Davadas, the allocation of proceeds raised from the public issue for its working capital requirements will allow Day3 to tender and take on more jobs. Day3 also plans to earmark a further 7.1 million to part finance the additional working space required for its growing customer base and the expansion of its headquarters to cater for the rising number of employees, as well as to set up a multi-purpose facility for internal training and meetings. The IPO is open for subscription from Wednesday until July 11th. MA Securities is the advisor, sponsor, underwriter and placement agent for the IPO exercise. Techna-X's wholly owned subsidiary has entered into a tripartite agreement to develop an 85-acre microalgae farm and produce algae biofuel. Its unit Techna-X Arobedo entered into an agreement with technology provider and operator of the farm microalgae Global and engineering, procurement, construction and commissioning contractor RTA ENC. According to the boss filing, TASB shall be the investor and IoT technology partner for Malaysia and East Africa insofar as the RA project is concerned, while the project is expected to be producing for a minimum of 30 years. It said TASB has committed to investing $120 million, but MyKO will commit to arranging 98% of the facility, while TASB is obligated to finance the remaining 2%, which works out to $2.4 million via a banker guarantee. MyKO will provide the technology and patents and will manage the production of the facility. In return, this will guarantee a minimum of 36,000 metric tons of crude algae oil per annum, which is equivalent to a net revenue of approximately $40 million per year. Notably, MyKO and RTA have two common shareholders, namely Mi Byung-ok, who is CEO at both private limited companies, and one Nurfazila Izzuddin, who is MD at RTA and a director at MyKO. Nonetheless, Techna-X said none of its directors and/or major shareholders and/or persons connected with them has any direct or indirect interest in the agreement.